One of the most keenly watched family settlements that just took place this past week was of Godrej. Godrej has been one of the oldest family businesses that has been running over 127 years. And interestingly, the family settlement that took place did bring into light the relevance of what a family settlement can do to not only business families but also simple families that would want that there is no disruption that takes place as far as personal relationships are concerned, and a settlement deed. Today my discussion will be on what is a family settlement and how does it work. Let us also now analyze with respect to the Godrej family settlement exactly what has taken place. As I said that with respect to the reality business, it is the only business that they can all compete in, whereas every other business, there is a non-compete agreement that has been signed. Also with respect to exclusive privileges, which Adi Godrej and his younger brother Nadir would have, is with respect to the FMCG products, their financial services, pharmaceuticals and diagnostics and chemicals, whereas the other brother, which is Jamshed, and his sister Smita Krishna, these are the cousins of Adi and Nadir Godrej. They will be the ones who would look exclusively in sectors such as defense, consumer durables, medical devices, construction materials, interior design, electric mobility, software services, and interestingly, the security products. Now, there is also one clause which has been inserted that if there is any specific area where both of them have not ventured into, then they can use the Godrej family brand name and venture into that area. Quite interesting and very peaceful way of figuring out as to how the next generation is going to take the Godrej family name forward. Typically in businesses, what we see is that there is something which is called as a non-compete agreement. Now, what is a non-compete agreement? That there will be different heads of different verticals, or maybe people who would have, taken away a certain subsidiary would go to A person, the other subsidiary might go to B person. So they will have a non-compete agreement between them. So for instance, in Godrej, except for real estate, everything else, they have a non-compete for next 6 years, which is what is interesting because there are areas where different fractions of family cannot compete. As far as real estate is concerned, they can. And also in this non-compete, they cannot use the brand name Godrej. So this is an interesting fact for family settlement documents also when there is business involved, especially now with India, really booming high, and we see a lot of businesses which are family run businesses. A family settlement deed definitely helps in making sure that everything that is getting divided is then given up in terms of what belongs to whom and who can practice which area of the business. A family settlement deed is a valid, legally bound document which is binding upon everyone who is a signatory to that settlement deed. Now, there can also be an oral agreement with respect to a settlement that is derived at, and a memorandum can be drawn which can then be produced in court and which will be considered as a legally binding document. The scope of a family settlement agreement, or FSA, will fall under section 17(1) of the Registration Act, and therefore it is always advisable that any such agreement is a registered agreement. However, sometimes it can be an oral agreement which can then be penned down into writing and therefore would not necessarily require a registration therefore. Also, in terms of Indian Stamp Act, it is important that you should have a proper stamp duty paid towards this family settlement agreement. Now, with respect to family settlement agreement, you will also see that this helps in settling down all the disputes and differences which may arise in the unit, which is the family. And these are all mutually agreed upon terms. What is most important and interesting to note as far as an FSA is concerned is that this agreement has the potential of overwriting any inheritance which is there. So for instance, if I inherit an X property from my family, but as per the agreement, I agree to maybe give it off to my brother in exchange of something, or maybe just voluntarily give it to him because there is a family settlement agreement that takes place, this has the potential of overriding any inheritance that may have happened. So this is a very interesting and very cost-effective way of arriving at dispute settlement for all times. But you have to be sure that this is done without any coercion to the other family members, and that it makes sure that everybody gets what they deserve. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you'll enjoy it. And if there are any queries with respect to family settlement agreement, please do feel free to write in to me. Thank you. Take care.